but today we're going to do our whole class writing plan for Cinderella and Ye-Shen. Okay, so what type of prompt is this? What type of writing will we be doing? Austin.
Informative, because compare and contrast is one of the things for informative.
Okay, very good. So we're going to be doing an informative writing. And Austin said that is compare and contrast. All right? So you're doing informative. Informative writing. And it is compare and contrast. Okay? So now I'd like to talk about the different parts of our writing plan. All right? And as we do that, I would like you to follow along. That's why you brought your whiteboard and a pencil, because I'm going to pass out a plan that looks like this. All right?
And we're going to do the same.
Yeah, and it's the same as up here. So as we're going through each of the sections of a writing plan and filling it in, I would like you to just do the same thing on your paper. All right, so I would like to see the same words written down.
Okay.
All right, so that I know that you are watching and listening and following along. All right? So I'll pass this out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And go ahead and put your name at the top where it says by. Writing plan for compare and contrast by. No, sorry. Can you pass these out? Or just hand them down? Thank you. There you go. Write your name at the top.
Tell Jacob
Jacqueline? Hannah, can you get one? Thank you. All right, so you should have your name at the top. You should have your name at the top. All right? Okay. Now, boys and girls, when we are doing a compare and contrast writing piece, we are taking two different things.
Yep.
Right? So what are our two different things that we are comparing and contrasting? What are the two things, Connor?
Differences and similar.
Yeah, so another way we could say compare and contrast is similarities and differences. All right? And so we are going to be taking the story Cinderella and the story Ye-Shen. All right? We are going to compare and contrast them because that is what our prompt is asking us to do. All right, now on our writing plan, the first thing that we need to do is write down what our topic will be. All right, and on your paper you see a T. That stands for topic. It is our green T for topic. All right, how do you think that we should start? Papers. We're starting with the topic, but what should it say? How would we go about introducing this piece of writing? Gabrielle. Okay, so Cinderella and Ye-Shen, similarities and differences. All right, that's a good note to put up here because that's how we would start our piece of writing, right? We need to tell the reader what it is that we are going to be writing about. So that would be great. So how Cinderella and Ye-Shen are similar and different. All right, so go ahead and write that on your paper. How Cinderella and Ye-Shen are similar and different. And boys and girls, what is the purpose of having a topic? Tell me, what is the purpose of having our topic sentence at the beginning? Sophia.
So when the reader knows what the story is going to be about.
Yeah, so that the reader knows what the story is going to be about. All right, if we just started right into our middle section, if we just started in, it might be confusing, right? We always need to tell the reader what we will be writing about. All right? Now, at the end of our paper, at the end of our writing plan, what do you think that we should have there? What would go at the very end of our writing plan, Connor?
How Cinderella and Yason are similar and different.
Okay, so you're saying have the same thing, but at the end for the conclusion. Okay, do you want to add to that, Sophia? Yeah, it's called the conclusion. That's right. So you have the C, the green C for the conclusion. And like Connor said, we would want to end in a similar way to how we started. All right? It's kind of like a sandwich. All right? We have our beginning, which introduces what it is we'll be writing about. And the conclusion ties it all together.
Can we put the same thing right now?
Yeah, we will write down the same thing, but in your writing, we'll make those a little bit different. We don't want to say the exact same thing, right? Jacob, would you like to add?
We would write the exact same thing, but not exactly, because it would be just a little bit different. You would probably have to change it. This is how Yason and Cinderella are similar.
Yeah, very good. You want to rearrange it. You want to rearrange it a little bit to make it more interesting, because if we repeat the same sentences, that could be a little bit boring, right?
You're not
Just
doing
Lena.
Velcro.
Jacob.
I was gonna like how Cinderella and Yason are supposed to be like Velcro and anybody else.
Oh, switch those?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That would be a good idea. Dominic.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So let's go ahead and write down what our conclusion would be. All right.
What Jelena said?
Yeah. So how Cinderella and Yay Shen are similar and
Which one are we doing?
right here. So our topic and our conclusion will be pretty much the same. So on our notes, because our writing plan is just our notes, we can put this down just to remind us that our topic and our conclusion, so it should be close to the same. Now when we actually do our writing, will this be the exact way you started? How Cinderella and Yason are similar or different? We would want to make it into
2 words.
We'd want to make it into a full sentence, right? But for our notes, because this is just our notes, we can write it down just like this. Okay?
6 letters and 2 words to it. You forgot that.
Oh, yeah. I'll put a little one in here.
Carrot.
Different.
You just can put carrot. Karen.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good way that we can edit our writing.
What is that? Oh, carrot's
It's
like
an
you put
ant.
a triangle and then you put it on top.
Okay.
That is.
Okay, so does everybody have this down for their list? Okay, perfect. Okay, so now that we have our topic
Wait.
and our conclusion, all right, on our writing plan, we need to figure out what the rest of our writing will be about, okay? So we need to figure out what will we actually write about, because we have the topic, we have the conclusion. So now we need to go in and fill in the star details. All right, the star details are going to be our main points in the story. Okay? We're going to put stars. And for this particular paper, boys and girls, we are going to have 3 body paragraphs, 3 star paragraphs, okay? Now, what do you think that our star paragraph paragraphs, what do you think we should write here for our notes? What would they be about? Eddie?
The similarities.
The similarities. Would you say that each one of these should be a different similarity?
Yes.
Okay, and why do we think that? If you agree with Eddie that these 3 stars should be our similarities, do that, second graders, we did this earlier. This means you agree, you think the same. Yeah, just like that.
And point at the person.
Oh, and when you do this, you keep your voices off. This is just so that we can let each other know whether we're thinking the same or thinking different.
What about if you
So-
don't agree?
If you don't agree, you just sit there. Alright? But if you hear somebody saying something and you're like, oh, I think the same thing, then a way you can show that instead of shouting out and saying, oh, I think that too, just do this quietly.
So
Yeah.
that's another sign.
That's another assignment. Yes.
You have to.
Okay, so Eddie said that he thinks that each star should be a different similarity.
Yeah.
Alright, so we agree?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's right. We would like each star to be a similarity, all right? So what do you guys think that we should put down for our first star? All right, we can go back and take a look at our compare-contrast chart to help us. Where are our similarities on our chart? Austin.
Our similarities would be in the middle.
Yeah, all of our similarities are right here in the middle. All right? So we said that some of our similarities were that they both took place a long time ago, that both Cinderella and Ye Shen, the characters, were treated unfairly.
So that's our main.
We said that both were kind. We said both were lonely, both were poor, and both lost a slipper. Now, for our writing, and to put on our writing plan, we don't have room for all of these. That would be a really long paper, right?
1, 2, 3,
So,
4, 5,
we need to choose 3 really important ones, or 3 main similarities. So, which one would you guys like to choose for our first star paragraph? Which is a very important similarity. Abigail.
They're both treated unfairly.
Yes. Both were treated unfairly. Is that a really important similarity? Do we agree?
Yes.
Do we agree? All right. So, for our first star, boys and girls,
Both
we
were
can
treated
write down.
Both
Yeah.
treated unfairly.
Both Cinderella and Ye Shen were treated unfairly. Both Cinderella and Ye Shen were treated unfairly. Now, do we have a compare word in this? Do we have a word that tells us that it's a similarity? Jacob? Yeah, that's right. Both. Both. So when we see that word, we know, oh, that means that this is a similarity. So we're talking about both Cinderella and Ye Shen.
Do you have to put a period?
Yeah. If it's a complete sentence, yes.
That looks more.
All right, now let's go on to our second star idea, our second main idea. I would like you to turn to the person next to you and talk about which similarity you think would be the best to go for our second star detail. So turn to somebody near you, all right, and take a minute. Which similarity do you think should go in our second star?
They both lost the slipper. No, I didn't.
No, what about horse?
I had a really bad day. They both needed